condemn the murderous atrocities of June 4th and mourn the heroic spirit of June 4th.
Thousands of people from China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong came together with the locals to keep a memory more than 3 decades old alive. Along with other cities, the UK's capital saw 3 protests this year, with the biggest one in front of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China. Their demands are still the same as they were 33 years ago in Tiananmen Square: democracy and accountability. But they also brought attention to the many people suffering under the Chinese regime, like the Uyghurs, the Tibetans, and the people of Hong Kong. In 1989, the government used force to end the protest of students and workers in Beijing, resulting in injuries and deaths. The discussion of the massacre has been censored in mainland China. This is Selim Basan, who has been advocating for the rights of Tibetans under the Chinese rule.
And back in 1989, some liberal-minded Chinese leaders trying to reform so that people can have more freedom and democracy. But unfortunately, the hardliners really crashed down on young students. Subsequently, the brutal regime sent tanks and troops to crash down, and hundreds of innocent Chinese students and young people died. I am a Tibetan, and my country, Tibet, was invaded by the CCP regime back in 1950, soon after Chinese Communist Party came to power in October 1949. So we know the pain what our Chinese friends are experiencing, whether they are in mainland China or in Hong Kong or elsewhere. So it is our duty to show our moral obligation and our moral responsibility and support and solidarity with our Chinese friends.
The vigil in London was also joined by the locals to show solidarity with the Chinese people.
Democracy is not perfect. It has many faults. But as Winston Churchill said, it's the least worst form of government that humankind has come up with. There were almost 1 million peacefully protesting students and workers, mostly young people, who just wanted a better future for their country. They were wanting less corruption, more openness, less secrecy, and maybe even a bit more democracy. So these are all things which are not a great deal to ask for in the way that people are governed.
Victoria Park in Hong Kong was the only place in China to hold the annual candlelight vigil for the lives lost. However, things have changed since 2020. Now, commemoration overseas has become the only way to remember what happened in the Chinese capital.
Today in Hong Kong, they have a universal and great law named National Security Law. What it says is that the Chinese Communist Party said, anybody threaten the national security, I will arrest you. If you memorize about the 4th of June, you seems like wanted to be anti the Chinese Communist Party and threaten the country. Before 2019, maybe the people really memorize about the sacrifice one in Tiananmen accident. But after 2019, they mainly focus on we are now keep on fighting anti the Chinese Communist Party because they hurt, kill, arrest a lot of Hong Kong people. At this moment in Hong Kong, the Victoria Park, all around Victoria Park is policemen. Anybody go there, when you're taking a flower, you will be pushed by the policeman. Go away. Or maybe you will be arrested by the policeman. That is the situation now in Hong Kong.
Last year, around 50 people were arrested under the National Security Law for holding a primary election in an attempt to decide the opposition candidate.
Some of them, I know that some of them is our church member in Hong Kong. They ask us, you need to keep on fight for freedom because I can't do in Hong Kong. they give us a mission, give us a hope. They hand over the responsibility to the people who are overseas, who are say, keep on shouting, fight for the justice.
For most of Hong Kong, it is impossible now to mark this day, and certainly impossible to do so openly and publicly. And that is the very reason why it's so important that we are doing what we're doing.
Now, this is what we are trying to do, to continue to impress the Western leaders that they must not forget the basic principles of democracy and human rights, and challenge the CCP government in Beijing.